Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour, held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description.
I mentioned that if we can get back above 6,000, we're going to get into this sort of the warm embrace of, that positive gamma effect again, as we move away from some of these strikes that are a little more concerning from that gamma perspective. So I think we've done that. Of course, we're back up to, 60.80, 60.86. We blew right through that collar strike at 60.55, but of course the collar's not there anymore. It's quite a bit higher, but I think we're in that silo of kind of 60.25 to 60.100, where I think we should probably top out here a little bit. What we started to see today was kind of interesting, and I talked about it early in the morning. I said, watch the VIX today. I told members, I said, watch that VIX, because it's probably not going to drop very much. It was down maybe 30 cents or so, 30.3 or so. And I said, it's probably not going to keep dropping because the market is starting to move so strongly to the upside that even it's going to get nervous. And we saw that a lot with those parabola stocks we were watching for, after the Trump election, after the election. So
did you notice that VVIX was also green first thing this morning and stayed green?
It stayed green, right? So it's a little bit too much for vol markets to handle. It's a little bit too much upward movement, and people don't typically think of moves to the upside as being associated with firmer VIX, but it is. It's not as pronounced, right? It's not like when the market sells off and you get those big spikes in the VIX. You're not going to see much like that to the upside because markets don't crash upwards very often. But this is a little bit of spot up, vol up, spot up, VIX up, and so. To me, it's kind of a little bit of a sign of a bit of exuberance and maybe, just a little bit too much excitement. You're seeing it play out in some areas. I bought some Nvidia calls yesterday and I said, this option price is a little bit cheap. We could actually see volatility rise if it keeps going. And we did see that. It was a very, very small amount, but Nvidia had a good day and you actually saw option pricing firm up on it. So we're starting to see just a little bit of that effect of calls getting bid up. And that's a little bit of excitement to the upside that has the potential to continue a little bit, but I think that's running out a little bit. So we have a question in the chat, which is, do you think S&P 6150 are going to be the highs, or 50 or 540 in the Qs? Didn't you mention something around that level, 61 something?
Yeah, so let me just show, this was a client post back on January 3rd, but I have to put caveats around this, right? So there's chase, swing, and trend time frame. Bigger picture, in Q1 at some point, I've been talking about the 6150, and the ones that he's talking about in particular are right here, right? So SPX, gotcha. 6150, QQQ, 548, SMH, 272, and Nvidia, 260 to 270. I actually have 271, but the point is it's up there. And we might need earnings to get us there. Okay, so that was
160 to 170, right? Right, Samantha? 160 to 170?
260 for Nvidia.
Aren't we? Hold on a sec.
I meant one. Oh my God, you're right. Okay, so sorry, I got the two in the front. Yes, no, not double. Okay, so 136 is where we've been gyrating. 152.53 is the previous 52-week high. I'm only talking really 170. Great catch. Anyway, the point is I'm bullish for Q1 for these levels to hit. And then most likely we reverse lower in Q2. Earnings won't be that great. And then the second half of the year, I'm a little bit nervous about this. But yes, I do have this kind of one more Mag 7 high in Q1, but trying to time it is very difficult. And by the way, that's the JP Morgan collar that we now have that expires March 31st, which is the 61.65, which is always typically a magnet. So it's kind of pulling out. That's a call that I have for Q1. 545.48 with Qs and 61.50 and 272 for SMH and 170 for Nvidia. Okay, so, but the timing of that is harder because we have a lot of interruption, if you will, with the macro backdrop. FOMC is coming in very soon. Will they pause? Are we going to have a Bank of Japan hike? Are we going to have tariffs? So the first few days of the Trump administration has been, well, first we got through the inauguration, so no volatility there. And that oversold bounce has been very strong. We were extremely oversold. So we have an oversold bounce of strength, and it is stronger than I expected. I really didn't think we would get above today like we did. I thought we'd have 60.53, and I can show you that as well, which I, show clients all the time. And then we would start to roll back over Thursday, Friday, as we got in closer to the Bank of Japan. We haven't rolled over yet. And so that's why I'm asking you, this is obviously a market that has repaired underneath the surface in breadth, also in volume. The option flow has stayed very bullish. But now, is it getting a little bit melt up feel to you? Or do you think we actually will start to hit some turbulence, get a softening? Because right now, the main reasons have been softening dollar and yields. And they have been right on cue coming back down. So that 10-year hit 4.79, which was absolutely target, and then it softened. It still looks like 4.49 can come in. And the dollar, of course, went all the way up to, nearly 110 and is already down to 108. That and energy also has softened. So you've got the trifecta, if you will, of tailwinds for equities, plus the sentiment. But what do you see in the option flow? Bullish or bearish for the next few weeks? What's your call?
Join Samantha and Hans at the next Macro to Micro Options Power Hour, held each Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Registration is free. Scan this QR code or click on the link in the description. Watch the full Options Macro to Micro Power Hour episode by clicking on the video here and subscribe to LaDucTrading YouTube channel for more content.